How sweep it is. The Mets take care of business over the Colorado Rockies in Colorado. A Rocky Mountain High sweep and a season sweep. 6-0 against the Rockies this year. And the Mets rarely ever sweep teams over the course of a season, while the Rockies are next level bad. So we will acknowledge they're terrible. I get it. But you got to beat the teams in the schedule that you're better than. And the Mets did just that. 2 blowouts and 1 thriller. And we're here to talk about it. And there's also some news we got to get into. A couple of signings, a signing, a trade, an option, some moves that have been made, some Mets career historic news we got to get into, some rehab news. It is a busy schedule here on Monday, June 9th on Mets Daily. Make sure you subscribe to Mets Daily. Smash that thumbs up below. We appreciate the support. Comment below what you think of the sweep in Colorado. Let us know in the comments. And please follow me at Jake Brown Radio. And please also consider becoming a Mets Daily Insider. Right below, click join for $4.99 a month. That's $5 a month, cheaper than a cup of coffee, cheaper than a 20-piece nugget at McDonald's. You can become a Mets Daily Insider, where you will have a weekly extra exclusive video a week, exclusive content, a live watch party we're going to be starting in the next week. So stay tuned for that if you're a member. Members only watch party. And soon, once we get enough members, we will be doing monthly giveaways, tickets, bobbleheads like that. Cool stuff is coming, so please become a Mets Daily Insider. Just click join below. All right, enough exchanging pleasantries. Let's get to it. What a win over the weekend. What a 3 wins over the weekend. And I get it's the Rockies, but still, you got to celebrate. And you got to celebrate the fact that the Mets now have a 4.5-game lead on the Philadelphia Phillies and a 14-game lead over the Braves. A whopping 14 games. Who would have thought? The Braves are finding new ways to lose every night. The Phillies finding new ways to lose. They're getting swept in Pittsburgh. Braves getting swept in San Fran. Everything, the sky is falling for the Braves and Phillies, but the sky's not falling for the Mets, who actually went high up in the air to the Rocky Mountains. Let's take a look at what happened over the weekend. Sunday, Pete Alonso, 2 more homers, 16 and 17. We'll get into what that means for him and the Mets in just a second. Jeff McNeil, 2 homers. He hit one Saturday as well. Jeff McNeil coming alive, and Luis Angel Acuna's bat has struggled. McNeil's getting playing time, and he's taking advantage. Francisco Alvarez, man, did he need that home run. We were talking about maybe optioning him at some point. Alvarez needed that. All these Mets needed this positive momentum, including Brett Beatty, who was in a slump of his own. He was like 3 for 29. Beatty with a home run. And Juan Soto, for the first time in his career, reaching base all 6 times. 3 for 3 and 3 walks on Sunday. And Tyler McGill gave the Mets a nice outing in the 13-5 shellacking. Saturday, another blowout, 8-1. Ronnie Mauricio carried what he did Friday, which was hit what would have been a home run in 29 of 30 ballparks. The only one it wasn't was where the Mets were playing, Coors Field. Carried that into Saturday. Hits one Saturday that's a homer in every ballpark in the world. I think it was 456 feet for Ronnie Mauricio and his piss missile on Saturday. McNeil homered again. Jared Young hit a home run. He's the guy that when Jesse Winker's back is probably gone. And then Clay Holmes, a sub-3 ERA. He's 7-3. Safe to say Clay Holmes, the pitching lab, have worked out wonderfully for the Mets. And then Friday, the game of the weekend. A frustrating game, but then a magical ending where it was back and forth. The Mets leaving runners on, base loaded, no one out, not scoring. Pete Alonso, 2-run go-ahead hit. Then the Rockies, tie it. It's 2-2. And then bottom 8th, bases loaded, nobody out. A magical double play, diving play, Brett Beatty. And then he tags third base to get the double play. Stanek gets a strikeout, gets out of it. And then Francisco Lindor, El Capitan, put the C on his chest. A go-ahead pinch hit 2-run double. The guy with the broken toe coming off the bench, limping, his Willis Reed moment. What a scene on Friday. And Senga helped get them there. 6 innings, 1 run. Kodai Senga leading baseball, 1.59 ERA. It's not, it's not scary. It's not wrong to say that Kodai Senga should be the Cy Young winner, because right now he is. And there's a chance that Senga wins that Cy Young. And what a season he is having. What a season Pete Alonso is having, as he hit 2 more homers on Sunday. He's on pace for 42 and 150 right now, but there it is. Countdown to 253. Pete, with his 2 homers, has passed our hero. Thoughts and prayers to David Wright as Pete cements himself into the number 2 spot, replacing number 5 in David Wright, hitting his 243rd career homer. He is 9 away from tying Darryl Strawberry, 10 from topping him. And I was wrong. I had my reasons outside of baseball, and I'll keep my reasons to myself. But I had my reasons why I didn't think the Mets should pay Pete Alonso. I was fine when they did it, when he signed, and it was on my birthday, with how they structured that contract. Short term, kind of a prove-it deal. The way he's playing, he's probably going to opt out and not take that $24 million next year and try and get a 5-year, $150 million plus deal, which right now he's going to get. He bet on himself, and it worked. He still got paid the highest amount of baseball for this year. He's the highest paid first baseman in the league. So the Mets treated him very fairly, and he has proven himself. So I'm glad I was wrong. Believe me, I'm a Mets fan. I want him to be great. I want the Mets to be great. And Pete Alonso's been the most clutch hitter on this team this season after being the least clutch hitter last year. So what do you for Pete? He should be your all-star starter. Lindor, obvious. Lindor has to get it, but I also think Pete should. It's Pete and Freddie Freeman, and Pete's beating Freeman in a lot of numbers outside an average. And how about Pete hitting 301? I mean, Pete Alonso hitting 300 is a big deal. This is a guy I never thought would hit 300 in his career. Probably won't when the season's all said and done. But for now, hitting 300, what a year for Pete. And a cool moment here that he's probably going to beat this mark maybe even late July. Like maybe around the trade deadline. With the way he's going, there's a chance, say he hits 4 more this month and then 6 next month. He gets it next month. So assuming he stays healthy, Pete Alonso's breaking this record sometime this summer. You just hope it happens at Citi Field. That is a moment you want to happen at Citi Field. You want Darryl Strawberry in the building. You want David Wright in the building. Probably in the suite. They got to be there. So congrats to Pete Alonso. What a Mets career he's had. What a season he's having. And in a year where where Juan Soto hasn't been the greatest, although he's picking it up lately, he has really picked it up. Him and Lindor have really picked it up for this team, for an offense that we get mad over, running a scoring position we get mad over. It is still a team with the most wins in the National League at 42. That's at 4.5 games up in first place. And a big reason is that guy right there, Pete Alonso, and what he's done for this team. So congrats to Pete. And thank you to David Wright. I mean, David Wright, that number is basically skewed because his back got the best of him. But David Wright's a guy that was going to hold every Mets record ever if he stayed healthy. And it's unfortunate we didn't get full David Wright because he was undoubtedly on the path to a Hall of Fame career, but the back got the best of him. Speaking of injuries, the Mets got a couple of pitchers coming back from injuries. That's Sean Manaea and Frankie Montas. Sean Manaea made his first rehab start on Friday for Brooklyn in Delaware, and Frankie Montas struggled in his 4th rehab start for the Mets. So let's take a look exactly what happened here. First off, Frankie Montas in AAA, right lat strain, his 4th start. He's been struggling, but you don't dive too much into rehab numbers. You just want him to be able to get to 80 to 90 pitches before he's back. But he's 1 or 2 more away before the Mets are probably going to consider bringing him up. Mets gave him 2 years, $34 million, and we could say all we want is a terrible deal. We haven't seen him pitch in the big leagues yet, so it's not really fair to him to say, look, he struggled in AAA, he's going to stink here, because that doesn't always correlate. 4th start, 3 2/3, 4 hits, 3 runs. He gave up 2 homers. That's the alarming sign in this stat line. 1 walk, 2 strikeouts in 76 pitches. He's given up 12 runs in 12 innings so far, 2 AAA, 2 single-A starts. So Montas, I expect him to probably make 2 more, and then the Mets will make a decision, but hopefully he can get it going. Sean Manaea, his first rehab start for Brooklyn Friday. Don't look too far into these stats. 3 runs, 3 earned runs, 4 runs overall. Some poor defense behind him led to that, but 0 walk, that's a good sign. 2 strikeouts, only went an inning and 2/3, 36 pitches. I expect him next start to maybe go 45 or 50, then 60, 65, then 75, and then 90, and then get the shot. So, again, like I've said with Sean Manaea, my guess is 4th of July weekend Subway Series may be the time you see him make his debut. And a couple of moves that have been made. The Mets called up the newly acquired Justin Garza. They acquired him from the Giants for cash considerations. He last pitched in Major League Baseball in 2023 for the Red Sox, and they optioned Brandon Waddell to AAA. Garza, 5.74 ERA, 47 innings over 2 seasons for the Guardians Red Sox. Struggled a bit in AAA for the Giants, but the Mets pitching lab, I'm sure they'll turn him into something. And they also signed right-hand pitcher Julian Merriweather to a minor league deal. He had a 5.79 ERA over 18 and 2/3 innings for the Cubs this season. So Merriweather, Garza, additions, depth moves. These are the times kind of for those depth moves for the Mets here, as they get right for that trade deadline, which they'll get the bigger moves. And give me Jake Bird. Jake Bird's the guy you saw against the Rockies this weekend. Filthy stuff, filthy delivery. That's who I'm targeting. And then, like I've said in the past before, if you could combine Mullins with one of their pieces, or even Jaron Durant, that's a recent rumor. We'll get into Jaron Durant this week, because I know a lot of people want to talk about that, Jaron Durant, and maybe Aroldis Chapman, a combo of those. Subscribe to Mets Daily. Smash that thumbs up. Follow me at Jake Brown Radio. Become a Mets Daily Insider. Click join below. Just $5 a month for exclusive videos and content. Mets off today. We'll be back tomorrow. Mets Nationals. We'll preview that series on tomorrow's show. Enjoy the day off. Relax. And let's go Mets. Thanks for watching. Mets Daily, everybody.